Made in Hollywood.
I'm here on location at the Pixar Place Hotel in Anaheim, California. And today on Made in Hollywood, I'm sitting down with Amy Poehler and Maya Hawke for the animated sequel, Inside Out 2.
She learns that there's a lot of room and space in between right and wrong and good and bad.
Made in Hollywood.
Also on today's show, Anthony Starr and Chase Crawford return for the shocking fourth season of the irreverent superhero series, The Boys.
I'm always curious about the motives of the characters in this show because I think it's always blurred.
Plus, a construction worker discovers community theater in the comedic drama Ghostlight. A Titanic superhero faces his greatest challenge in the animated adventure Ultraman Rising. And we also look at what's hot on screen with Chris Pratt. This week on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
After turning 13, a young girl's mind is thrown into chaos by the arrival of new emotions in the animated sequel Inside Out 2, featuring the voices of Amy Poehler and Maya Hawke.
It's anger!
Let me at him! We gotta get our mouth guard, people!
Fear! No, that's not ours! Disgust. Glad to have her on our team.
With the introduction of anxiety and some of the new characters into the fold, how is Joy challenged this time around?
She's challenged in a major way because she thinks that her way is kind of working great. Change is not easy for Joy, and she wants to protect Riley. So when anxiety starts to take over and kind of get in the way of Riley's good time, according to Joy, she starts to panic.
It should be nothing but smooth sailing from...
Hello! I'm anxiety. Where can I put my stuff?
What goes into the psychological research of these emotions?
Yeah, that's the first place I started. We met with a lot of experts on this movie.
We leaned on them to talk about what are these self-conscious emotions that you see kind of rise up in teens when they kind of hit this stage of life.
My team has run all the data and we're looking at the following likely scenarios.
I had this little character that I'd made up in my own life of when I was feeling really anxious, I would do this funny voice because I would want the people in my life to know that I knew that I was being a little crazy and that it didn't actually matter if we left right now or in 15 minutes, but that it would make me feel a lot better if we did leave now. And so I would do this and just to kind of indicate, that I knew I was being silly. And so I just kind of tapped into that person.
What's your name, big fella? That's embarrassment. Welcome to headquarters, embarrassment. Oh, we're doing a fit. No. Oh, nope, going high.
I think more than anything, it's trying to prep for the fact that there's very little dialogue and you're kind of nervous, how do I impress them or do the job well without having the words for it?
Out with the old, in with the new. Riley's life requires more sophisticated emotions than all of you. You can't just bottle us up.
Disgust fancies herself to be the most teenage. So of the old school emotions, she's the one that adapts the most. So then to get kicked out by the new emotions, it's just it's insult to injury.
We are suppressed emotions!
Pixar films, they always have this deeper meaning to them. What would you say is the message that you would hope moviegoers take away from this film?
You mentioned earlier the idea that your generation didn't have an Inside Out movie to wrap words around it or start conversations.
So it's huge. It changes the landscape.
Having a brilliant creative expression of all these beings are for you and I need to support them a little more and have compassion, that's a message I think just the world needs to hear more of.
Have I ever steered you wrong before? Many times.
Joy can be kind of binary, and so she learns that there's a lot of room and space in between right and wrong and good and bad.
Just don't look down and keep moving. She'll be okay, right?
50-50.
Coming up, Anthony Starr and Chase Crawford suit up for the fourth season of the superhero series, The Boys, and a construction worker discovers his inner thespian in the comedic drama Ghostlight. To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it.
I'm always curious about the motives of the characters in this show because I think it's always blurred.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. With the fate of the world in their hands, a team of misfit vigilantes must find a way to stop a group of unhinged superheroes in Season 4 of the action series, The Boys.
I look back at my life, and all I see are the messes I made.
Season 4 started in somewhere midway through Season 3 with the idea of mortality and everything that comes along with that. And that naturally led to Legacy, which is where we pick up in Season 4. And that's all about fatherhood.
I can do one thing right with the time I got left. I can't do it alone.
To have just like a broader canvas, and to have, you know, the nerd in me loves the sort of like little tie-ins and beats that speak to just a larger universe. You know, if you like Gen V and you don't want to watch The Boys, I want that to work too. So it's a very careful balancing act.
It's not going to be easy. We'll have to do some terrible things
for the greater good.
She has identified herself as a hero her entire life, right? That is her primary identifier. And what do you do when you lose that?
You'll no longer be beloved celebrities.
In the fewest of ways.
You will be wrathful gods. Show me a little wrath.
The journey that Kimiko and Frenchie go on is one of guilt and shame. And how can I live on? How can I forgive myself? How can I move forward when I've done so much bad? And I think the answer is that you have to just try to do good every single day.
The whole world is about to burn.
We need someone like you, Billy, before the soups start rounding us up and dumping us off in camps.
It's been fun to explore, you know, a new dimension of the Deep, and also
is it for
his
Homelander,
relationship.
or is it for himself?
That's a good.
As you
no,
said.
the anger I think is for himself.
Found the answer to all our prayers. A virus that kills soups.
This is insane and desperate, even for you.
Well, insanely desperate's where we are, don't you think?
I've said this in the past, and she's a character that compartmentalizes a lot of her feelings, and I think that she's done that for so long. And I think this season, you kind of see the what is it, the chinks in the armor, or like the cracks begin to show. And I don't think that she's faced that really ever to the degree that she does this season.
I'm declaring hunting season on Starlighters.
I'm always curious about the motives of the characters in this show because I think it's always blurred.
No, you're right. The super motive is for himself.
But I think it's really interesting that like all the superheroes are really self-motivated, and all the anarchists are really doing something for the masses.
If we're ever gonna win against monsters, we need to start acting human.
A construction worker is forced to grapple with a personal loss in his life after discovering the world of community theater and the comedic drama Ghostlight.
Daisy has had plenty of chances already.
Get out of the street!
Are you kidding?
This is her last one. Did you reach out to the therapist I recommended?
The grief and the sort of stasis that he finds himself in is quite debilitating.
I think Dan is probably looking, like as Rita says, to be someone else for a while. You know, when he steps through those doors, I don't think he sees what's coming, or at least he chooses not to, in terms of engaging with this play.
I was excited to play this character because of the arc he does have in the film. Am I supposed to go in there or something?
Some parents choose to. It's really up to you.
I'll be back in an hour.
Daisy, she really closes off her emotions at the very beginning of the story, but then as it goes on, and especially as she gets involved with the theater production of Romeo and Juliet, you see a more softer side of her.
See you later.
Where are you going?
I'm meeting Mikey for a beer.
Again?
Well, my first reaction was, isn't it beautiful that
there is a parallelism between this family and theater, and how theater can be a very healing factor for people.
Hey!
Daisy!
Say hi to Mom, cheater!
Excuse me. Oh, God. Is this a threesome?
It's for a play.
What play?
It was sort of a really lucky evolution and very organic in that I wrote the role of Dan for Keith. But then once we cast Dan, he asked if Catherine, his daughter, could audition. And she was incredible. And we were like, God, what if we cast a real father-daughter? And then it was a very natural next step to say, what about Tara for Sharon?
He's always been my favorite scene partner. I have a tremendous amount of trust. I get to try things with him, and I've not had the experience before, though, to do that with Catherine.
That's also kudos to the genius of Alex and Kelly in casting them. They really were perfect for the parts that they played.
It seemed like you might want a chance of being somebody else.
When things get hard, you either blow up or bail. It's a bad habit.
I think Dan is like sort of representative of like every person, and grief requires time, and it requires introspection and attention and empathy, and it can be hard to find those spaces where all that stuff, all the messiness is celebrated. So theater is one of those spaces.
Break a leg.
To find out where to watch any movie, check out MoviePhone.com. Find it, watch it. Up next, a Titanic superhero returns in the animated adventure Ultraman Rising, and Chris Pratt voices a comic strip icon in the comedy The Garfield Movie.
Garfield is your world-famous, lasagna-loving, Monday-hating, sarcastic, indoor pampered pet.
Made in Hollywood. Made in Hollywood.
Now available on your home screen. After adopting a 35-foot-tall, fire-breathing baby, a Titanic superhero discovers that parenthood might be his greatest challenge yet in the animated adventure Ultraman Rising.
Dad, did you ever worry that your power wasn't enough? Every single day, the world needs you to become something more.
I think as a child, I saw Ultraman on TV. It was the first time that I ever saw an Asian superhero, so that was exciting.
It was very foundational because what Getty was saying, to see an Asian superhero, somebody who looked like us, saving the world or saving Tokyo, was really, really impactful.
It's actually kind of cool fighting monsters. It's just, I'm not very good at it. As a kid in Japan, I saw him on television. I saw him beating up big monsters. I didn't know the major through line. And as an adult, when I booked Ultraman, I went and started researching, and I learned how Ultraman had to fight the kaiju, and many of them were animals. They didn't need to be killed. So I learned that there was remorse, and there was guilt, and there was a pity towards the kaiju.
Ken, she thinks you are her mother.
Well, I had the idea back in 2001, and I was a big fan of Ultraman. I'd grown up watching Ultraman, but really the heart of it was giving a hero a challenge even greater than saving a city is raising a child, right? So I thought, well, in the vernacular of Ultraman, it would be a kaiju.
As for the style, we tapped into our passion and love for Japanese anime, manga. We took all those cues and found a way to work with our art department and ILM to find a great way to harmonize it all.
I am not built for this! How do you do it? Juggle everything, your job, your kid?
Honestly, it's not easy. They're like little monsters sometimes.
I think it's about family. I think obviously the family struggles are pretty universal.
Especially today with multicultural crossovers happening and having a character who's Japanese American, I think can be universal.
You know, we're telling a new story that's contemporary to the times now. We're reinventing an amazing, iconic character, and it's just fun. I can't wait for the newer generations to see it. We're gonna do this together.
Here's what's hot on screen. A lazy indoor cat finds himself in a high-stakes outdoor adventure as Chris Pratt lends his voice to a comic strip icon in the animated comedy, The Garfield Movie.
Wait here, Junior. I'll be right back.
You hungry, little guy?
I'm grateful. This is an entire collaborative effort by a great production team and a wonderful director who had been working on this for years before I jumped on board. So really, I was just honored and blessed that they thought the voice of the guy from Parks and Rec was the voice of this cat. That's what they told me. So like, I've been working on this for years. I keep hearing your voice coming out of this cat in my head. That's what I want. You've got a natural, lazy, sarcastic tone to your voice. I want that voice. And I was like, well, that's cool, because I know the guy who has that voice, and he could do it for you.
I apologize in advance. The eating you're about to see will not be pretty. And if you have young children, this would be a good time for them to leave the room.
Vic, Samuel L. Jackson, voices Vic beautifully, is this streetwise, scruffy, outdoor cat.
Hey, Junior, this is Vic, my father.
You ever jumped a train?
I've never jumped.
Garfield is your world-famous, lasagna-loving, Monday-hating, sarcastic, indoor pampered pet. Vic takes him on this epic outdoor adventure along with Odie, and they basically are enlisted in this really high-stakes and super funny heist scenario. I haven't seen you for years, and when I do, you're on the run from a deranged cat. The relationship is one of a father who his son believed abandoned him in an alley one day. He's got an issue with this guy, Vic, who claims to be his dad, because his dad left him in an alley. And so healing that relationship and seeing the father try to teach this cat some valuable tricks of the trade, some hard knocks lessons on how to be an outdoor cat is kind of some of the fun in the movie.
Ooh, Odie, you think he'd see that coming?
Let's get it. I deserve.
Stay tuned, there's more coming up on Made in Hollywood.
Made in Hollywood.
Thanks for watching Made in Hollywood, powered by MoviePhone. For more behind-the-screen content, check out MoviePhone.com.
Made in Hollywood.